Well, that's low.
Okay, everyone, back with Thomas Tuchel. Again, 2 questions per person initially, and we'll see what time we have. So
That's low seating, no?
Yeah.
Rob, do you want to start?
Thomas, good to see you.
Thank you.
It's been very hot since you arrived in Florida, but the truth is, we've been here about a week now. We kind of expected it to be hotter. I wondered, I mean, we know that's why you brought the players here, to try and force through the acclimatisation. Is the fact that it's maybe not hit the heights affected that plan a little bit?
Well, yeah, it just showed us you can plan whatever you want, and life does what it wants itself, and it has all its rights. So it was a lot of rain, it was a lot of grey sky, very unusual for 3-4 days now. So today was the first day in the sun, complete day in the sun, and completely training in the sun, which is what we wanted. It was still very warm. We still had the chance to train on a high level. The training was not affected by the weather. In the opposite, it's easier to train without the sunshine. So no problem. We adapt to it. We make the most out of it. The pool was not used in the afternoon until now. I think that will change today. But everything fine. We have best conditions on the pitch. The pitches took the rain well, and it did not affect the mood, and did for sure not affect the quality of training. And we don't have the hours that we wanted to be exposed, but we will catch up with it, I think, in the next weeks.
Yeah, the forecast looks that way.
Yeah.
Look, there's a number of players in your squad where their club future is, I suppose, a little uncertain at the moment.
Yeah.
Is a bit up in the air. And we've never had to ask you this before. But what's your policy? If a player came to you and said, can I pop out and do a medical, or can I go and talk to my agent, or can I negotiate? What would your answer be?
Common sense, I would say. Common sense. I would not like it on a -1 and on a match day. I think that's the policy, and everything else, if it's like quietly done and privately done and done efficiently, then we are always happy to help, to have clarity around the player, because I think the best what we can have is clarity. So if anyone has the chance to complete a change of club and a transfer, we will not stand in the way, but it has to align, of course, with our schedule and with our goals, which is to be focused and prepared for matches. So I think in the last day before the match, for sure, maybe even the second day before a match, not. But let's see. We take it case by case. Until now, no player approached me, but I think our doc is ready to take any medical if needed.
Thank you.
Carrie.
Hello, Thomas. You've finally got what you want. Your players with you, almost all of them. Have you spoken to the Arsenal players, and what have your conversations been? The timing of the parade was very good psychologically after the disappointment of missing out from the Champions League.
Yeah, but I haven't spoken to them. I think they got a lot of messages and spoken to a lot of people, and I thought I'd just leave them to themselves. They could be proud of what they achieved. We spoke after their title in the Premier League, which was the big target, and I think that was the main target, and that they achieved that, and I could feel that it makes them proud and took a weight off their shoulders and gave them a huge boost for the final. And then they went toe-to-toe with the best team in the world at the moment, and they made them go the full length and into penalty shootout. At some point you have to find a winner in a final, and it had to be done with the last shot of the penalty shootout, so it's as close as it can get, and I think there is no need to be overly disappointed and to carry it into the World Cup campaign. I don't see that. I will see them tomorrow, and I think it will be no issue to lift them if needed. But I saw pictures and I heard messages already that they're happy to come, and group is waiting. We're in good spirits, so this is normally what helps, and I think they're very well aware what they achieved this season.
Ezri Konsa very much talking about personal responsibility, ownership, not making excuses about the heat and the weather. We're looking at the pitch, though, for tomorrow's match. Are you concerned about it, and will it affect your team selection?
I just saw it. No, it will not affect my team selection, because what I heard until now is that it should be okay, and we want it, of course, to be okay. I saw just a photo from your colleague that made me a little bit worried and concerned. But let's decide when we are there. If there are any issues, we can always react to it. The plan is tomorrow to play 45 minutes with 2 complete teams to expose everyone to the same amount of minutes, and then we can continue the next 3 days with the same load of training. That is the plan, and at the moment we stick to the plan.
Thomas, you spoke about the Arsenal players there, but you've got 14 out of the 26 players in your squad have won a trophy or more this season.
Yeah.
How important is that when the pressure comes of playing for England in a major tournament, that they've got recent history of lifting silverware and playing under the most intense pressure?
Yeah, it's amazing, and we said congratulations, of course, in the first meeting here in Florida, because it is always an achievement to win silverware. That's always something that you should cherish and take in completely, because it's something very special and makes a season special, and it does something to a player. So we're very, very happy that we have a lot of winners, like you said, and it just lets your confidence grow in a genuine way, so it's not artificial. Players know that they can handle the pressure. The players know that they performed in finals, and Arsenal boys in a long season. So it's good. They put it over the line, and this feeling is you cannot substitute this kind of feeling and this kind of belief. So we're very, very happy that we have a lot of winners in our squad.
Just on your forwards as well, given the conditions, is Harry Kane one of the players you'll be most wary of in terms of managing his minutes as best you can? And what are the different attributes that Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins give you?
Well, Harry is, of course, a key player. There's no doubt and no secret about that. He's one of our key players. And of course, we take care of our key players, but we want our key players also on the pitch. So ideally, we can take some minutes off him. But if the matches are close, do we really do this? If the matches are close and not decided, do we take our skipper off? Do we take our main goal scorer or main goal threat off? Maybe not. I think the most important is the shape in which Harry is. He's in top shape, and he's ready to go. He was like the leading player who set the intensity today in training in a defensive training day. So he's used to this. He's used to high pressing. He's used to high intensity in the opponent's half with Bayern Munich. That's what he shows. So I think we don't have to be worried about him at all, even if it's hot and humid. So he just showed me the whole week that he is ready. He's determined. He also got titles. He was so influential at Bayern Munich's campaign until the semi-final in the Champions League. He scored 3 in the cup final. So he's our key player. And the 2 other number 9s are very different player. I think like Ollie is more the guy maybe to start for Harry. If we think Harry should not start the match, and to keep the intensity up, to keep the press going. That is the strength of Ollie that he showed for us. And Ivan is a kind of a finisher for us, finisher of matches. Maybe with a special task to take the the attention of defenders of Harry. Then we can play with a second striker. He's very, very good in the box, very good with set pieces, good penalty taker, trains on a high level. I'm very happy with him. He just showed that it was right to take him, and his brilliant attitude and good training sessions through the whole week. So, yeah. We have some options, and Harry is, of course, like I said, the main guy up front.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, Thomas. Talking to Ezri Konsa said so many of the squad are used to training in America pre-season. Yeah. He said heat won't be a problem. Do you share that confidence?
Yeah, I like it. Like it's typical Ezri. He does not dribble around it. He just nails it to the point, and that's good. Because we don't want it to be an excuse. It will be tough. It will be hopefully a long World Cup. It will be a lot of traveling. It will be a lot of adversity from the heat, from humidity. We had a delay in training already for almost 1 hour because of lightning. So, but that's also the task for us, and that's also what we want to achieve, to have an atmosphere where we stay calm, where we stay patient, and where we adapt to the circumstances. That's just what it takes, I think, to go through the tournament. Players are not complaining at all at the moment. I know it's quite early, and hopefully it stays that way, but that's what Ezri says, sets the tone, and I agree with him.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ivan Toney. Having him back in the squad after so long out, a couple of minutes he's played for England between 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
What have you sensed in him, having been given this opportunity?
Well, we had a lot of positive feedback, first of all, about his role in the last tournament and about his role like in club football, that he is a guy who easily connects with everyone in the group, is respected by everyone. And then we had like 1 or 2 honest conversations, if he can handle the role, if he would be happy to have this role that we can offer him. And he made us, he was very believable, and he straight away said yes, he would be happy to join and come. He has a big personality. He's, like I said, fantastic, one of the world's best penalty takers. He just showed in the training matches that he's very calm in finishing, 1-touch, 2-touch finishing. So he gives something to the group that we can use, and we can finally also have someone, if the game is around the opponent's box, to play with Harry and to be very, very offensive. And he agreed with all that, and the standing in the group was never in doubt, because the feedback from his coaches, former coaches, staff members and team members was always absolutely positive, and he proves that until today.
Sally.
Thomas, in the game tomorrow, I guess the 2 games, what's the priority for you? Is it minutes in legs, or is it the development of partnerships on the field, looking ahead to the game against Croatia?
Croatia will be very different to these opponents, I feel already, which is fair enough and also normal. So it's a mix of what you said. I think tomorrow is maybe the focus more on the minutes. So we will share the minutes that we can continue in the training process together, and we don't have to split the group up and take care of the guys who played a bit less and take care of the guys who played a little bit more. We just will give everyone the minutes and everyone a go finally here at the World Cup. But at the same time, it's also like to reconnect to our identity and the stuff that we did good. So we had a lot of meetings offensively and defensively, and we wanna see how far we can push this already. It is maybe more about connections on each side, more about connections in the back 4, on the side, in attack. How do we attack right side? How do we attack left side? How is the connection within the back 4? When do we initiate the high press and all that stuff? So we had a lot of input already. Let's see how much we can see tomorrow on the pitch. But the focus tomorrow is, maybe more on the minutes and on connections between 2-3 players. I think against Croatia it will be a very different game, and we have still 4 training days in Kansas to prepare Croatia. So Croatia is at the moment does not exist in the talk to the players, or is not a theme in the training sessions. This is about us, and we spoke today about New Zealand and the special things that New Zealand does already in the deep build-up, about their structure and how can we initiate the high press. So it was more about this. It is mainly about us and our behaviors that is in total focus for tomorrow.
And just last of all, realistically, in the 2 games, how much of an opportunity is there for the players or maybe some of the players that are just on the fringe of the first team, starting 11, to work their way into that starting 11 for the game?
Yeah, there's always a chance. there's always a chance. For me, it's just nice to see who is actually, like, we come from such different seasons. Like we just talked about it with your colleagues. Morgan Rogers reaches 5,000 minutes tomorrow, and then we have like Tino Livramento, who just finished his, like, he's back in team training after 5 weeks out. So it's more for me to observe, like, how fresh are we, how much does the body do what the mind wants, and then, like, who's tired, who's fresh, who is like, who can show it on the pitch, because the trust is there, and of course I have quite a big group of players that I trust to start for us. And I think the roles are clear, and everyone makes the most of these roles, and these roles can of course change, and the door is open, always open to impress, and the door is always open for last minute changes. But at the moment, the atmosphere is relaxed and calm and focused, and hopefully we can show that tomorrow with an intense match, 45 minutes, but also with confidence and with joy to be back on the pitch and be finally in America and having the opportunity to show up.
Henry. Thomas, hi. First, good luck in the tournament.
Thanks.
Secondly, many of your predecessors have come into World Cups with players either missing, injured, or players who are taking injuries into tournaments.
Yeah.
Remember Beckham, Rooney, Gerrard, Rio Ferdinand, Maddison at the last World Cup. You're missing Levi Colwill, but you've actually had a pretty clean bill of health. Do you feel a lucky manager?
Yeah. I'm a very lucky manager, because I could choose a group and go to a World Cup with a group that I chose, and it's English players, and I love all the players, so I'm a very, very lucky manager. And yeah, this is a part of it. Of course, I was very nervous through the last weeks when I watched matches and saw players like going out and like I instantly texted, "Is everything okay?" Of course, and we need this kind of luck if we want to go a long way. You need just this kind of luck. If we are unlucky and we have injuries in key moments and in key matches, then it's just not the same thing. We will always try to find solutions then, because we don't want to be fully dependent on individual players, but it's just a reality. At the moment, it's just beautiful that we can train in the full size squad. And the young players that we took are doing excellent, and we're taking care of the players and managing the load. So it seems like we have tomorrow everyone available, and it continues. So every match has the risk of an injury, but let's not, knock on wood, let's not talk about so much about it, and don't put it out there in the moment. The manager's lucky and happy, and we have the chance to let everyone play.
Thomas, I take your point that you aren't talking to the players about Croatia yet, but sitting there right now, in your own mind, do you know what your starting 11 is against Croatia? Or are these two games, are you still processing that over the course of these two games?
I will still process it, because I will also I don't want to narrow myself down, and then we have maybe slight injury worries, or someone carries something that is not confident, and it just freaks me out. So we will always take last decisions. But I have a clear idea, I think, of 14, 15 starters that can start for us and should start for us and can carry this team. And we will always have this pool of players to choose from, and to choose from also what we see from the energy, who's in shape, who's in form, who fits maybe a little bit better to the opponent. I had a pretty detailed look already, of course, at Croatia over the last weeks, but the last week was completely about us and completely about our behavior. So I will dive into this subject when we go to Kansas and prepare from then.
And we've just quickly, we've been talking about and listening to people about these devices that you've got, that you're monitoring your players. And how much are you looking at that, and how much will that inform your decision before the 17th about
Less than you think. Less than you think. I'm very happy that we track them, and our physical department, our performance coach, and performance department, they are tracking all this and make sure that we load them in the right way, and they top up our training or they reduce our training, whatever is needed, and give us advice of how much we can train on every day. But it's mostly also the advices are also needed for tracking the sleep, so we know about the recovery. It's mostly to help the players. So if we see someone is struggling with sleep, we can help them and with supplements and with a routine, or with with a new sleeping routine before sleep, stuff like that, to make sure that the jet lag is out of the way, to make sure that the sleep is long enough, is deep enough. So to actually that we actually have the best possible performance out of the player. So this is just normality, I think, nowadays to track all the data. But my decision does not depend too much of it. I'm aware if significant problems or significant numbers are not the way that they should be. But normally is not my key domain.
Okay, we'll finish with James then.
Thomas, hi. Just want to go back to Rob's question about transfers. You've got obviously Morgan Rogers, Elliot Anderson, Marcus Rashford, all been kind of linked with moves. Do you have any concern that it could be a distraction for them? And ideally, do you want all that sorted before the actual tournament starts?
Yeah, that would be ideal, but that's maybe not real life. So the question would be how much to worry. Like if I would now go, like, would this even be possible to say no? You don't deal with that now. The telephone will just still blow up. How do we want to control that? So it's more the other way around. I'm always there to help. I'm always there to calm things down. I'm always there to, we should more help them to have an own environment where they can handle the distraction, where they can dive in. They have to concentrate. They have to do the most to fulfill their role that we have for them. Because I can see, of course, the distraction. If clubs are fighting for you, if clubs want to sign you, and sporting directors and agents and coaches are trying to get you on the phone, of course, it's a distraction, but it's just also reality. So we will always recommend the player to take a decision before a tournament starts, and as early as possible, and then go with the decision. But it's also not always possible for the player. So, yeah, I think we're not alone in this. It's just like how this thing plays.
Can I just ask you about IFAB changed the rules before the tournament?
A lot of rules.
Yeah, I mean, but the one that kind of grabbed the attention was the grappling in the box before a corner comes in. And apparently they used the Ben White goal against Uruguay as an example of what not to do or what will be stopped. I just wanted your reaction to that.
We were not so happy that it was like one goal, and was it one goal and was by chance our goal? Yeah. Okay, so there are a lot of changes of rules, and I'm happy that we have another meeting, I think next week. I had already a meeting. I'm not sure that I understood everything correctly, and it was quite a lot. And I'm just a little bit worried that it's quite a lot still in a subjective manner for the referee to decide, and still a lot of I just fear for the referees to have a lot of additional decisions to make on the pitch, and I'm not sure if all of them give us more clarity. I can see the urge to have more clarity, but I'm not sure that rule changes so shortly before a tournament will encourage that. But okay, let's see. We will of course play according to the rules, and we are aware that in Premier League the corners and the set pieces are more physical than in other countries. So. But I think that's a normal thing. I think in Europa League it's a little bit different. In Champions League it's the refereeing is a bit different, and then you adapt. The rule that you say was about like blocking before the ball was in play. And so let's see. I mean, we will will of course, it is a strength of us, and we will of course try to make the best out of it. Why wouldn't we? It's just a way to do it, and I think every team will try to do it. Hopefully we find a consistent way to referee it. I think this is what everyone looks for, just consistency, and it's difficult enough for everyone. With new rules, hopefully we get more clarity, but yeah, it's not always the case if they are so implemented on such a short notice. But I'm happy that we have next week another meeting, and we will get our head around it.
So.
Thomas, good luck for the tournament. You talked about adapting to different circumstances just now. And when you came into the role, you talked about the game model you would try and use, the high intensity, Premier League physical, up and at them model. How much, because of what you've learned over the last 18 months and because of the environment that you're going to be playing in, have you had to adapt that game model for this World Cup?
I think I think we can still try to implement it and still try to impose ourselves, and I think still we should. We learned from the Club World Cup last year that the games drop in intensity, but not like that does not change the game completely. It drops, so it is less sprints, it is less intense runs. I think to 15% of it, so it's not dramatically, and I think it's not enough to change your game model completely. It will change naturally, but we also have a water break to breathe. I think it will be there's a value in recovering the ball high, even if it brings risk, and even if it is highly intense. But I think there's also a high value in having the ball and moving the ball and not chasing the ball. So in the last tournaments, it was very, very important to not chase too much. I think that the result, so to score first, to have the full focus on that. So these are the things. But at the moment, we are fine. At the moment, the heat is okay. It is hot, but it's not crazy hot until now. The players like Ezri are used to it. They go to pre-seasons in this kind of climate and play in these kind of conditions. So at the moment, we're trying to just play our game, and then let's see where this brings us. There will be moments in a game where we have to play economically, but this should be then like on the ball, preferably on the ball and not off the ball.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks.